Welcome back to my channel. Today we're getting tacked up and ready to head out on a ride with my Connemara's and my 4 big dogs. But not this little one.
You gotta get off, Deedsy. You're not coming. Get off. Get off, Deeds.
Comet and Barney, 2 of the Connemara's, are wearing traditional American pack saddles. You might be wondering what the fluffy shelves are for. Well, they are my dog shelves. So we're going to do a bit of dog training as we go along as well. So some of the time the dogs will be running alongside, and some of the time I want to teach the dogs to sit quietly up on the shelves. But more on that later. Let's get ready to head out. I always manage to forget something, so while I dash off to get my stuff, Barney takes 5 minutes to have a little nap. Let me introduce you to the animals I've got with me today. So I'm riding a Connemara called Evenos, and then behind him is Comet, and then behind him is Barney. They are 3 very different characters. Evenos is the bossy one. Comet is, well, he's just a saint really. And then Barney, well, he's a cheeky chap. We don't have very far to go on the road before we can get onto the tracks. Of course, all the animals prefer being off-road. The dogs I've got with me today are Luna the Labrador, and then Doug the Vizsla, Nancy the Dalmatian, and Tati, my little rescue dog. The ponies don't realise how wide they are with the extra shelves, so they do a bit of crashing and bashing along the hedgerow. But it's not long before they work it out, and we make our way down to the bottom of a valley. As the terrain starts to level out, I look around for somewhere suitable to stop. This clearing looks perfect. It's right alongside the river, and there's plenty of trees to tie the ponies up to. First of all, I have to set up a highline. Now, rather than tying the horses to trees, which could be potentially dangerous as they could wrap themselves around a tree, I use a rope and string it between 2 trees, with the ponies held in the middle using a prusik line. And this way they can't move up and down the rope or get wrapped around the tree, so it's much safer. I've actually decided to set 3 up today. Because of Barney and Comet carrying the pack saddles, I didn't want them to be able to bump into each other or be too close. So I've set them up 1 each, and they can hopefully just stand there comfortably and have a little snooze. Highline is a brilliant way for teaching horses to be really patient, because although it's really nice for them to be able to graze when the area allows it, in this situation there is only really bracken and bluebells, so nothing for them to eat that's safe. So they're much better tied up and they can just have a snooze. I've brought with me a blanket for the dogs to sit on, and me of course, but at this time of year the ticks are everywhere, and I find having a blanket just to keep you off the ground helps a little bit. Although it's not a foolproof plan, and the dogs have a treatment to make sure they don't get bitten by the ticks. But I'll have to be much more careful. And I'll also have to check the ponies when I get back home as well. Now it's time to pull out the stove and start to thinking about making a cup of tea. I love drinking tea. I would drink it morning, noon and night given the chance. But actually, when it comes to taking the horses out, I find that the length of time it takes to get the stove out, set it up, get it all going and the water boiling, and making that cup of tea is just about the right amount of time for the horses to be able to settle into being on the highline and just find that relaxation. Because often when we go for a ride, we tend to be go, 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 and it all has to happen. And the only relaxation the horses get is when we get back home and we turn them out in the field. So this is about training the horses and the dogs together, of course, but it's also about making sure that during the ride there are these periods of time that the horses can just learn to relax and also enjoy that sort of peaceful feeling of being at one and in nature. It helps them to be more calm and to look positively towards the idea of going out for a ride, or, in inverted commas, working. The dogs seem pretty happy on my blanket, but it's time to scoop them off and pack up and start to think about carrying on our ride. Things never seem to get packed away as easily as they do when you're packing to head out, but we just stuff it in and get ourselves organised. After a few little adjustments and checking my girth, it's time for us all to get on board. I'm actually going to stay in the woods for a minute and sit my dogs on the shelves. Even though they're not going to go for a ride just yet, I want them to just be able to sit up on the shelves and stay there and not feel the need to jump off. Now I've got 4 dogs with me, as you can see. 2 of them are actually kind of hunting breeds or scenting breeds. So you can see here, Doug is using his nose, as there are so many scents and smells in the woods that he would like to go and explore. But it's really important that the dogs learn to just be able to relax in any environment and in any situation. They can't always be free range to go and do as they please. Then I get them to jump off and we head out again, perfectly capable of using their legs. And this next bit of trail is quite a challenge, so I definitely wouldn't put them on the shelves to go up here. The ponies do a great job off-road and they're quite used to it. We go up and down the hills all the time. But it's always different when you've got them in a string because they have to work out an order. Dogs also find their spot. Luna is always up front, and sometimes Doug likes to join her up there. But most of the time, the other 3 like to go behind the horses at the back. Once we pop out of the woods, we're back on the quiet country lanes. So I put the dogs on the shelves, and it's time for them to go for a ride. The ponies never seem to take any notice of the dogs being on the shelves at all. I wonder if the dogs enjoy their elevated view. They're the good dogs. You stay. Good dogs. Good ponies. After about half a mile, I asked the dogs to jump down again so that they can walk alongside the ponies. For the rest of the trip and all the way back home, I'm going to keep chopping and changing. So for some of the time, they'll be up on the shelves. And then when it's safe and the road's quiet, I shall let them jump down and run alongside the ponies. As I think it's great for the horses and dogs to be able to do both. And hopefully that way they'll get loads of confidence and we can start to go on bigger adventures together. As that is my ultimate dream. Thank you so much for watching my video. Don't forget to give it a like and a subscribe, as this helps to grow my channel. See you on the next video.